ask you this. So what happens to these the bullion traders, the licensed bullion traders, once the GoldBod is in place? Will you buy from them, or will you start competing with them?
The licensed traders cannot export. Again, the bullion traders, they cannot export. The GoldBod, let me say, they cannot export directly. The GoldBod is going to be the sole exporter of all the gold from the small-scale sector.
Right.
Now, what that means is that they can apply to be aggregators or licensed buyers who will be licensed by the GoldBod and given money by the GoldBod to buy gold for and on behalf of the GoldBod. So
Right.
the business they do, their export license allows them to do two things: to buy gold from the local market and to export. They can continue to buy. Safe to say that this time around, they must buy based on the buying policy of the GoldBod and for and on behalf of the GoldBod. But they can continue to buy. But
Right.
they cannot export on their own. Safe to say, again, that the GoldBod bill before Parliament allows for some between these bullion traders for export purposes. So if an exporter says, look, I have an off-taker in India or Dubai or in Europe who is ready to give me $100 to buy gold and export to them, they can channel that money through the GoldBod. We will receive the money, give them the CD equivalent, they buy for the GoldBod, and the GoldBod will export the gold to their off-takers. So they can, to some extent, still do exports through the GoldBod. The only difference is that they cannot do the export directly.
Right.
And the reason why we need this change is so that we can track the forex and bring the forex back, because we have entrusted them to do this and have had issues with forex retention and forex repatriation. But this is not new. Let nobody get the impression that this is new. In fact, this is not new. What we are doing is the neater way of getting this job done, because in 2022 November, the Kufuor-Bawumia MPP government, by the stroke of the pen, suspended all export licenses and made the Bank of Ghana and the PMMC the sole exporter of gold from small scale. They did not go to Parliament with a bill to get legal backing for that. We woke up one day and a statement was issued. The government is going to roll out gold for oil. And so even though you have an export license, the license has not been revoked, it's been suspended. You cannot export. So from 2022 to the greater part of 2023, 2024, all holders of export licenses were not exporting. It was only the PMMs, because government said, buy the gold, all right, but sell to Bank of Ghana. Now, we are saying that the principle or the rationale for what the previous government sought to do was good, in the sense that it sought to make the state the sole exporter through the Bank of Ghana. The problem, however, was that the suspension was capricious and whimsical. After the suspension, the minister decided to grant exemptions. The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources decided to grant exemptions to holders of export licenses whose licenses had been suspended. And he decided to grant exemptions to those who had pre-existing contractual obligations with off-takers outside the country. But every exporter has an off-taker somewhere who he has an agreement with, because either than that, then they cannot export.
Right, I get that point.
So once they introduced that exemption, it made nonsense of the whole policy.
Right.
They should have granted that for everybody.
Sammy, let's talk about
grounds for it became grounds for favoritism and all that, and they themselves know that they abuse that exemption regime. So we are saying, look, since we came, we've allowed any exporter who wants to export. You understand? For fairness. But if we want to cancel that regime, we don't want to do it whimsically like the SWA government did, just issuing a press statement. We want to go to Parliament with a bill, and we are saying now the state should be the exporter. But you, those who were already in that business, whose licenses have been suspended anyway, now you can go into aggregation, you can go into buying directly from miners, and you can even partner the states through the GoldBod for export purposes.
All right.
Because at the end of the day, it is the forex we need.